Well, we did the Mario Brothers, so now we gotta do the other duo. You know, this duo. Everyone loves Toadstool and Toady, yeah? Everyone loves Peach and Toad. Everyone loves love interest and sidekick. Everyone loves... I'm not gonna keep doing this joke. But yeah, you know, maybe they're not quite as good as toys. From the Jakks Pacific Super Mario Bros. Movie toy line, this is the Peach and Toad. Of course, we already looked at Mario and Luigi last week. These guys are from the same series, same price point, and I think one of them is just about worth it, but has one major issue, and the other one I don't think is worth it at all. And we can figure out which is which in just a sec. Looking at Peach first, and I think a lot of the details are really well sculpted. Don't get me wrong, I really like the sculpting of the dress, and the hair especially. I like how you can see like the separate strands. The crown looks great. I love how ornate a lot of the sculpting and the detail there is. And she does have the realistic eyes, just like Mario and Luigi. They're a little bit harder to make use of. Like, it's weirdly enough easier to get it from this side of the face than this side. But it does still work. I think it's just because, kind of like Luigi, her face is a bit more slender, so maybe the plastic just has less space to work with, unlike Mario, who just had that big old gob. But here's my issue with the Peach figure. I'm going to get her one accessory out of her hand real quick. So, $20 for this figure, right? We have a swivel at the head, which you can't use because of the hair. You have a universal at the arm, which you can't go side to side because of the sleeves. You have a 9-degree elbow, swivel at the wrist. You have a really good waist joint, to be fair, and then nothing in the lower body. Like, this is just a big traffic cone with feetsies. And I understand that this is Peach's design, and it would be hard to, like, make a workable action figure out of it, but this is still a $20 figure, and on this $20 figure, there's 5 points of articulation that isn't hindered in any way, because, like I said, the head and those universal shoulders are both pretty severely hindered for what they should be able to do. And the gimmick works less well on her than the Mario and Luigi, that being the universal or the realistic eyes. And even if it's probably the best sculpted of the series, it's the figure of the series that I think has the least going for it. You do also get the parasol, which is nice. Good little inclusion, reminder of when she had her own game, and it fits right in her hand. It is a little bit of a tight fit. There you go. Another issue, I don't know if you've noticed, this hand keeps coming out of the arm. You can shove it back in, but yeah. She's also the one with the most QC issues out of any of these guys, at least for me. Which is unfortunate, because I really like Peach. Well, I like all the Mario characters, but it feels like Peach always gets the short end of the stick when it comes to figures and basically everything, even in the games. So, I wish they could have done something more. In the trailers, we see that she's going to be wearing her Mario Kart outfit, like, you know, the motorcycle jumpsuit. Well, I kind of wish they just made a figure of that, because then you could have made an actually decent toy instead of the traffic cone. Now we talk about Toad. So, Toad looks perfect, just like all of them. He looks just like he should. He has that big bulbousy head. I love his dewy smile. He has great paint, good sculpted detail, especially in the lower body where you can see like the knitting of his burlap sack pants. And then you have the big backpack, and you'd think that would make him top heavy. No, it counterbalances his big head perfectly, so it works really well. And also, I love how this is basically just a big homage to Captain Toad. I like that. I love the fact that they're kind of going in a more Captain Toad direction with this Toad, it feels like. Because, once again, people who aren't super into Mario may not know this, Toad isn't one person. Toad is a whole race of individuals who all look, act, and basically are exactly the same. Toad as a singular character really only showed up, I guess, in this movie, and also in the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, the one that had Captain Lou Albano. It's weird. Toad's a weird character. He creeps me out. He really creeps me out because of that face, but let's get off that. Going over articulation, he actually gets to use his ball joint. He's the only one out of the 4 who makes good use out of the ball joint. You can get side to side, up and down, side to side. Yeah, that's nice. Universal at the arm, and now we get to the scary part. The elbow works great, but look at that. It's just a pin socket hinge, and when you move the arm, it starts to come apart. that feels like something that's going to break eventually. And if it doesn't break, it's going to get so worn out, it's not going to be able to stay connected. Nothing at the waist, but it would have been really hard to put something at the waist. But you do have big step forward and a little bit of a step back. And you even have a little bit of foot articulation. Like, this is what I'm getting at when I'm talking about Peach being disappointing. Toad is also a design that does not lend itself well to articulation. He's so squat and he's so bulbousy, it's hard to give him good articulation. But they managed it. They found ways to work it in. They were clever about it. They were less clever about Peach, unfortunately. Just like Mario and Luigi, a big thing I wanted to do in this video is just talk about the kind of where they were to where they are now kind of comparison, you know? So I do have the Jakks-specific World of Nintendo Peach and the World of Nintendo Toad. So the Jakks-specific, same toy company trying to capture the classic video game appearances. And let's kind of just see what they've kept, what they've changed, how they compare to them as not only designs, but as figures. So a big thing to get out of the way right now is, of course, the Super Mario Brothers movies figures are all taller. They're all more in the 5-inch range, whereas the World Nintendo figures were more kind of in the 4-inch range. Peach is the tallest of both sets, with this Peach being closer to 6 inches, that Peach being closer to 5 inches. But it's still, you know, keeping in canon with the games, Peach being a lot taller than the Mario Brothers, and especially Toad. And just looking at them, like, this was a $10 figure, this is $20. Seeing that, like, yeah, I can see where the extra $10 comes from just in terms of paint and sculpting. There's a lot more detail on the new movie version. But, looking at articulation, right? Like, impaired side to side at the head, universal that actually works at the shoulder, and an elbow, and the waist. So basically, same number of points of articulation, and the universal shoulders work on the game Peach, as opposed to the movie Peach. This is the only figure in the entire wave where I can say I don't see how much more playability you're getting out of the original, or out of the new one, as opposed to the original. The only other major change I could say is, like, whereas at least they put something under the skirt to not make it weird, they didn't put anything under Peach's skirt, and I'm not going to show it, because it's a creepy thing to put on a kid's toy, but, like, they just put her underwear on, and maybe they should just make the traffic gun. That's basically what I'm getting at, but, yeah. So, on that front, probably better thinking with this Peach, but overall, it kind of stinks that, once again, Peach has the short end of the stick. Whereas Peach had the least amount of improvement and change, Toad probably has the most. If we look at the original World of Nintendo game Toad, right? One, there's a lot of paint issues on this guy. I don't know if it comes out in the corner, but the flesh tone here is super spotty. There's a lot of bleed over onto the yellow on the vest. So already, this guy is knocking him out of the park in terms of quality control. But in terms of articulation, we have a swivel, and we have a universal, and that is it. He has no other points of articulation. He can get in a handful of poses, but each of them are just going to be using the head and the arms. So, there's already a massive improvement just in terms of articulation. But there's including the fact that there's a lot more paint on this guy. The paint that's there is a lot sharper. You have a lot more accessories. The fact that the backpack alone probably has more plastic content than this Toad has in his entire body, because this is a very cheap, thin figure, even by the World of Nintendo standards. Toad is just all around a better figure. And it's a thing where the Mario and Luigi, I could see you going either way. The Peach, I think you definitely, like, see no major upgrade. Toad is an upgrade. And I really think that even though he's the smallest of the group, and he has less articulation than Mario and Luigi, I think he's also worth the $20, like Mario and Luigi were, and unlike Peach, unfortunately. But with all my complaining, there's something about seeing the four of them all together. Like, this is a legitimately good toy lineup. It's very solid, the figures all look great together, there's a good synergy. I like this a lot. I'm excited to see if they maybe expand the toy line, and I'm a lot more excited to see the movie after interacting with these toys. And I feel like I'm going to be even more excited next week when we talk about the biggest bad of them all.